What's good, basketball world? So today I am doing a follow-up recap on a few players that I made in a video 5 years ago that was based that was more than 5 years ago. 6 seasons ago, I believe. On my favorite rookies from the 2016-2017 season, and some of them have been having some phenomenal seasons. So I decided to do a follow-up recap video on where their careers are today. First up is Jason Tatum, who is averaging 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists currently with the Boston Celtics. He's also averaging 46, 35, and 87% on his shooting splits. And if you're an NBA fan, there's no surprise that Jason Tatum has been an all-star for the past few years. This year in the All-Star game, he scored 55 points and subsequently won the MVP trophy. A big jump from his performances in past years.
Kill the boy and let the man be born.
He's been a part of a dynamic duo with the Boston Celtics and has seemingly improved his game each year that he has played. In last year's finals, the Celtics were against the Warriors and finally lost to them in 6 games. Jason had 4 games in that series where he scored at least 20 points. Now, it's a few days after his 25th birthday, and currently the Celtics are half a game back from being the first seed in the East. And they definitely look to be on track to make a run for the finals once again. I can only imagine the emotions he had surrounding their playoff run last year, and that he'd like to take home that hardware this year. Frankly, I say that it would be well-deserved if he takes home some more hardware this season and just throughout his career. So I definitely see that coming for him as far as like MVP trophies. I don't know if he would get MVP this year just because of the strong cases that Jokic and Giannis have right now, but I definitely think that he will win at least one in his career, maybe more. Like, he definitely has that star power and that talent. Next up, we have Dennis Smith Jr. Now, Dennis, his career has been somewhat puzzling to me. He was a first-round pick drafted by the Mavs, and for a second it seemed like he was going to be like their guy, and then Luka came and things pivoted with the team. Right now, he's averaging 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists on 42, 21, and 74% shooting splits. Even though he was a short guard in his first 2 years with the Mavs, he contributed pretty well, averaging 15, 4, and 5, and 13, 3, and 4 in his first 2 seasons, which is around about like where a lot of rookies score in their first years. They don't score like 20, 30 every game in their first seasons, so it makes sense. I can imagine that the Mavs did expect more contributions from him, and yeah, since leaving the Mavs, he's had 10 years with the Knicks, Pistons, Blazers, and Hornets. I definitely believe he has more to offer to the game in a point guard role, so we'll just have to see how his career continues. I hope it becomes, more productive for him and he carves out like a permanent role with the team, But yeah. Next up on my list is De'Aaron Fox. And as I say in Sacramento, like the motherfucking beam, because Sacramento has been just like, wow, they've been amazing this season. 3rd in the West right now. Sabonis and De'Aaron were both all-stars this season, which is very deserved. And ultimately, the primary thing that I noticed with a lot of stars who were big producers for their teams, but just couldn't figure out how to get over the hump, is that you just have to have that roster and that team of people that fits around your play style. And I think De'Aaron finally has that as a guard. He has all of these people around him that can contribute. Not to say he didn't in the past, but he just had better fits now with the team he's with this year. And Sabonis, I mean, he's been amazing. Having him like as one of your main guys on the floor, it's like you're guaranteed you're going to do well. So I'm just happy for De'Aaron. I'm happy to see where the Kings are. If you watch any of like my OG videos, you'll know I've been rooting for the Kings to finally get over that hump forever. So yeah, now that they're finally doing it, I'm happy. Next up on this list is one of my favorite guys, and he was a great three-point shooter in his first season, and he's just been amazing. He's on a new team now. He's with the Utah Jazz, and they call him the finisher, the infamous Larry Markkinen. This guy has just been a joy to watch this year. So many highlights, so many great performances. You can tell watching him now that his instincts have just improved greatly while on the floor. Just look at this play here. Like, what a stud. I saw the potential in him his first year, so it's refreshing to see him flourishing with a new team. And currently the Utah Jazz are 9th in the West, only 2 games back of being the 6th seed. And I say 6th seed because of the recent implementation of playing rules and the 7th and 8th spot no longer being a lock for the playoffs. You basically got to play to keep those particular seed spots. So even if they do get into the playoffs, I definitely see them making a deep run for sure, potentially like 2nd round, depending on who they match up with, maybe even 3rd round. But yeah, I definitely see them doing big things, which is like crazy because people definitely saw them tanking. So lastly, out of all the people on this list, this one hurts the most because I was a big advocate for this player, and I really wanted to see them flourish and just be great. And their career has been a little interesting, to say the least. I'm talking about Ben Simmons. So right now, Ben is averaging 7 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists on 56, 0, and 44% shooting splits. So the years when Philly was starting to show promise was amazing for Ben, and that's when he was voted an All-Star as well. I will say that having rotational pieces on your team like Dario Saric, JJ Redick, Robert Covington, who were designated to be on the three-point line and spot up, it definitely helps a guy like Ben, who was their point guard. His job was just to get the ball to the right person, help defend, work his way in the post to assert himself for a dunk or a layup here and there. And for a few years under Brett Brown, this worked until it didn't. I don't know if opposing teams started figuring out their game plan, or if injuries took a toll on him, or it was the trading away of their perimeter shooters, or maybe it was a combination of all of these things. But somehow Ben just ceased to want to get up for a shot or a block sometimes. And it was shocking to so many, especially when he played against my team back in the playoffs a few years ago. I know how injuries and being in pain can cause PTSD and make you afraid to want to do the things you used to. But all I can say is that it is known that Ben at one point could do these things. He could get up for layups, dunks, three-pointers, things of that nature. And as a fan of the game, I just like to see him get back to those ways of him not necessarily like missing shots, but just like attempting them. Because of course you're not going to make every single shot, but it just makes me wonder, you know, like what's going on for him to not really be attempting like certain things that he used to, you know. So yeah, guys, that is my follow-up recap on my 5 favorite rookies from the 2016-2017 season. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, have a great week.